In the remote areas of the vast ocean, where the water is calm at dawn and the waves roar at dusk, fishing boats begin their journeys in search of two rare fish species, Opah and stingray. Both species have high economic value, delicious meat, rich in nutrients, and are sought after by luxury restaurants around the world. However, catching them is not easy, requiring experience, high techniques and a specially designed long fishing line system. Each trip begins with the careful preparation of thousands of meters of main fishing line, which can be up to 50 kilometers long, rolled up on large reels on both sides of the ship. On that main fishing line, people attach thousands of branch lines, each a few meters long, attached to sharp hooks baited with small fish, fresh squid or marine animal organs with a particularly attractive smell. The casting usually takes place at night or early in the morning. When both Opah and rays tend to move to the surface to hunt, the casting is done slowly and steadily, so that the hooks do not get tangled and are evenly distributed over a large area of the sea. Once all the lines are cast, the fishermen begin to wait in silence, sometimes for hours. In the middle of the night, the lights on the deck shine down on the dark water, attracting small creatures and at the same time luring larger predators such as rays and Opah closer. When the time comes to retrieve the line, the reels work tirelessly, pulling each meter of line onto the boat. This is the most exciting moment of the whole journey. The gentle vibrations of the line are a sign that a fish has taken the bait. With Opah, a fish that is round like the moon, its entire body is silver and bright red-orange. Pulling them up requires skill, because the fish are very strong and often struggle violently when brought to the surface. Fishermen must use hooks attached to a crane line to hold the fish firmly, avoiding losing it when it struggles. After being caught, Opah are often processed right on the boat, quickly frozen to maintain the quality of the meat. Meanwhile, stingrays are a completely different challenge. With a flat body like a bat's wing and a long tail containing toxins, stingrays can be dangerous to fishermen if not handled properly. When a stingray is pulled up, sailors must keep a safe distance, using specialized tools to control the tail before bringing the fish into the hold. Some of the larger stingrays can weigh up to several hundred kilograms, requiring a crane to be used to pull them onto the boat. Throughout this process, smooth coordination between crew members is vital. Even a small mistake can result in injury or loss of valuable spoils. When the fishing lines are all collected, the hold is full of fish, sparkling in the morning sunlight. It is time for the ship to return to port. On the way back, the fishermen classify, clean and preserve the fish in the freezer. Although tired after many hours of intense work in the middle of the ocean, everyone is radiant with the results achieved. Catching Opah and stingray with long lines is not only a job to make a living, but also an art that combines knowledge of the sea, long experience and human courage. Each trip is a journey of discovery, a silent battle between man and nature, where patience and skill are always tested to the limit for each such trip. The weather is an unpredictable factor and always carries risks. On the open sea, a sudden storm or a big wave can also break the fishing line. sweeping away the efforts of the whole crew in the blink of an eye. Therefore, before setting off, the captain must always carefully study the ocean current maps. Meteorological forecasts and choose the most optimal travel route. In addition, the fishing location cannot be arbitrary but must be based on knowledge accumulated over many years. Familiar fishing ground coordinates, where large schools of opah or stingrays have appeared. In particular, opah fish often swim alone or in pairs, living in water depths from 100 to 400 meters, while stingrays can hide on the seabed, buried in the sand, and are very difficult to detect. Determining the correct time and location of the fish school requires great sensitivity, sometimes an instinctive feeling honed through hundreds of trips out to sea. On the boat, each person has a clear task. One controls the line. One watches for the signal of a fish biting the hook. One is ready to operate when a big fish is hooked. There are days when the sea is calm but the fishing line is pulled up empty. Not a single fish bites the bait, leaving the whole crew stunned because all their efforts have been wasted. But there are also days when luck suddenly smiles, when in just a few hours, dozens of opah fish weighing tens of kilograms are hooked one after another, or a giant stingray over 3 meters long, weighing nearly half a ton, rises from the deep sea. Those are moments of explosive emotions. The whole boat seems to come alive after so many hours of waiting. For many young people new to the profession, fishing with a long line seems simple, but in fact it is a process that requires perseverance and high discipline. Each knot, each way of tying the hook, the distance between the hooks, the depth of the line, the freshness of the bait, all must follow strict standards. Just a small deviation can render the entire line system useless, even if the fish has taken the bait. Getting it on board is a real battle. Opah fish are strong, have wide fins, often struggle and can easily break the line if not controlled well. Stingrays are dangerous because their tails have poisonous spines. Just one strike can kill the fisherman. Therefore, many ships today have invested in modern equipment such as underwater cameras, traction sensors, and hydraulic cranes to support the process of pulling fish, ensuring maximum safety for the crew in addition to its commercial value. Opah fish are also known as the first bony fish species capable of regulating body temperature, a miraculous biological phenomenon that has amazed researchers. This also explains why opah fish meat has a special structure, is firm, has a rich fatty taste and is popular in high-class sashimi dishes. Meanwhile, stingrays, although not outstanding in appearance, have a distinctive flavor, especially the soft cartilage, which is considered a delicacy in many Asian and European countries. Each fish caught is not only a source of income but also a source of pride, a crystallization of the sweat and intelligence of the seafarers when the ship returns to port. Amid the cheers of relatives and traders waiting, the silver redfish crates are lowered by crane, marking the end of an arduous journey. However, For experienced fishermen, it is only a temporary stop. The sea always beckons, and long fishing lines will continue to be lowered, day after day, as an endless challenge between humans and the endless ocean after docking. The atmosphere on the wharf becomes unusually bustling. Each crate of fresh opah with its metallic-like scales is carefully weighed, its weight and quality recorded to determine the selling price. Traders from seafood processing companies, high-end restaurants and even international exporters compete to get the most beautiful, freshest fish, just caught from the sea. With stingrays, the purchasing process is often more meticulous, because only those with large size, thick meat, few scratches or no damage to the wings are valued highly. Some rare species of stingrays are even taken to a separate processing room. Tissue samples are checked and specially packaged for export to Europe or Japan after stressful working hours. The fishermen return to their normal lives on shore, but their minds are constantly on the sea. Because in the heart of every seafarer, there is always an invisible thread connected to the wind and waves. To the sound of the wind whistling on the deck and the feeling of a strong tug in the hand when the fish bites the hook. For them, the sea is not only a place to make a living, but also a companion, a challenge. A place to practice endurance, courage and strong teamwork. Some people are born and raised by the port, following in the footsteps of their ancestors, spending their whole lives with fishing lines, hooks, squid bait, GPS devices and radios that echo the sound of the waves. Every callus on the hand, every scar on the arm is proof of hundreds, thousands of hours of struggling in the wind and rain to bring back opahs and stingrays that weigh down the ship's hold. However, fishing with long lines also poses many environmental problems. If not carefully controlled, hooks can injure or kill other marine life, especially sea turtles, sharks or predatory seabirds. Therefore, modern ships today have applied many measures to minimize the impact, using circular hooks to limit damage to unwanted fish, installing bird-repelling devices, changing fishing time to avoid the time when rare species are active. Many fleets also cooperate with international marine conservation organizations to collect data, attach GPS tags to fish released back into the sea, contributing to the long-term protection of marine ecosystems. The technique of catching opah and stingray with long lines is therefore no longer simply a profession, but has become a symbol of transformation, between tradition and modernity, between exploitation and conservation. Each trip to sea not only brings valuable products to the mainland but is also an opportunity for people to learn from nature, listen to the call of the ocean and reflect on their responsibility for the resources that Mother Sea has generously bestowed. And so, season after season, the ships leave the dock, carrying with them their aspirations, experiences, and beliefs in the miraculous reunions between people and fish at the end of the waves. And on that journey, the long fishing line, seemingly a fragile thread between people and the sea, becomes the most durable and enduring link, connecting two seemingly distant worlds. the small world of humans and the vast ocean universe on the ships that drift silently in the deep blue ocean. Time seems to slow down. Only the hum of the engine blends with the breath of the wind and waves. In the moment of waiting for the fish to bite, the fishermen often sit silently on the side of the ship, their eyes following the slightest vibration of the fishing line, their ears listening to the clicking sound of the pulley. It is not just a job, but an art of patience, where feeling and experience replace all modern machines. They can guess what kind of fish is under the line just by observing the vibration, the pulling speed and the direction of the fishing line. A sudden strong jerk, then suddenly silence. It could be an Opah testing the bait. A heavy, persistent and steady pull, most likely a stingray struggling at the bottom. These skills cannot be learned from books, but can only be absorbed gradually over the years of salty sea in the hold. All equipment is always kept in a state of readiness. Scalpels, hooks, non-slip gloves, auxiliary nets, and even long wooden sticks used to control large fish when they are on deck. Each person in the fishing team must be quick and coordinate perfectly. When the fish rise to the surface, just one slow or missed move will result in a total loss. Opah fish, although round and somewhat docile in appearance, have unexpected strength when pulled up. With strong fins, they often swing violently, causing the line to break or the hook to slip out. As for stingrays, with their ghostly appearance and the surprising strength of their long tails, they are always a potential danger if the puller is not experienced enough. It is not uncommon for large stingrays to use their weight to overturn the hook, pulling the long line into the deep sea, leaving the fisherman with a lingering feeling of regret for many days afterwards. But fishing is not just labor. It is also the story of lives that are tied to the sea as fate. There are 12-year-old boys who followed their fathers to sea, and from the first time they held a fishing reel, they were fascinated by the strange world of the deep water. They grew up with the waves, witnessed many times the boat capsized, the line broke, and the fish were missed, and finally became one of the most skilled fishermen in the port. There are also old people, their hair as white as the waves, who still board the ship every time the fishing season comes. Not for money but because of their inseparable love for the sea. They see each fish pulled up not only as a trophy, but also as a greeting from the ocean, a sacred connection between people and nature. When the sun sets below the horizon, the entire ocean seems to be immersed in a dark purple color. On the deck, people light a fire to cook, share a few slices of fragrant grilled Opah fish, drink some warm water, and tell old stories. Someone talked about the time they pulled up a stingray weighing nearly 800 kilograms that took 5 people to hold. Someone told of a sudden storm in the middle of the night that caused the entire ship to drift dozens of nautical miles under the dim yellow light. Those stories were both familiar and mysterious. Like an indispensable part of a fisherman's life, the long fishing line, seemingly just a simple tool, is actually the soul of the whole trip. It connects from the fisherman's calloused hands to the deepest part of the ocean, where mysterious fish have hidden for millions of years. It is a symbol of perseverance, precision and courage, three things that make up the bravery of a seafarer. Each time the line is cast, it is a time to send hope. Each time the line is pulled back, it is a time to face luck and challenges. And whether successful or not, those fishermen will still prepare new lines, new bait, wait for the tide to rise, then set sail again, like an endless song of the ocean and people at night. The sky and sea blend into the misty fog. But on the long fishing boat, the space is still bright thanks to the high-pressure lights shining directly on the water surface. These lights not only help the sailors operate more easily but also play a role in attracting small creatures,